So do you remember when Jon Stewart went on Stephen Colbert and said this?
I honestly mean this. I think we owe a great debt of gratitude to science. Science has, in many ways, helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
So now you're not allowed to say that. This was like probably, was it last fall he said this?
And the whole crowd, you can hear how they start laughing because a whole bunch of them literally would need Jon Stewart to say it to go, hey, I've thought that too. Jon Stewart said it. Because they can't have their own thing without the head. And Colbert is aware of that. You're the shepherd of these. So this Catholic priest here has to, okay, good.
And so watch how Colbert handles it like a true propagandist.
And that's kind of,
hold on, what's that?
No. Listen.
It's coffee. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like perhaps there's a chance that this was created in a lab? There's an investigation.
A chance?
Well, if there was evidence, I'd love to hear it.
There's a novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan novel respiratory coronavirus lab. The disease is the same name as the lab. That's just a little too weird, don't you think? And then they ask those scientists, they're like, how did this, so wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan respiratory coronavirus lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle. And you're like, no, the name of your lab. If you look at the name, let me see your business card. Show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan. Oh, because there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey and then it sneezed into my chili and now we all have coronavirus. Like, come on. Okay.
Wait a second.
What about this? Listen to this.
Wait a second.
All right.
John.
Oh my God. There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe a steam shovel mated with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory. Maybe that's it.
That could be. That could be.
By the way, I gave them all tuberculosis. Just
That could very well be, and Anthony Fauci and Francis Collins at NIH have said, like, it should definitely be investigated.
Don't stop with the logic and people and things. The name of the disease.
Wait a second.
The building.
Wait a second. But it could be possible. You could be right. It could be possible that they have the lab in Wuhan to study the novel coronavirus diseases because in Wuhan, there are a lot of novel coronavirus diseases because of the bat population there.
I understand.
It's like the saying,
it's a local specialty, and it's the only place to find bats. You won't find bats anywhere else. Wait, Austin, Texas has thousands of them that fly out of a cave every night. Every night at dusk. Is there a coronavirus, an Austin coronavirus? No, it doesn't seem to be an Austin coronavirus. The only coronavirus we have is in Wuhan,
yes,
where they have a lab called, what's the lab called again, Stephen?
The Wuhan Novel Coronavirus Lab.
I believe that's the case.
And now, how long have you worked for Senator Ron Johnson?
Let me tell you something. About Ron Johnson. This is not a conspiracy.
So that's what's called a bit killer. And so Stephen Colbert was very uncomfortable, so much so that he didn't mind cutting the legs out from underneath the comedy bit that his boss, Jon Stewart, was doing. Jon Stewart is an executive producer on.
I mean, he would have if I knew who Ron Johnson was. Yeah. If I, like most people, had any idea
his shit libs know who Ron Johnson is because they make him out to be a bad guy.
He is just for a small audience.
And so for that, after Jon Stewart said that, do you know what happened?
And the backlash was swift.
The backlash was swift.
I saw it.
It was swift. So here's what he has to say about it, about the backlash. Here's what he says.
The larger problem with all of this is the inability to discuss things that are within the realm of possibility without falling into absolutes and litmus testing each other for our political allegiances as it arose from that. My bigger problem with that was I thought it was a pretty good bit that expressed kind of how I felt. And the two things that came out of it were I'm racist against Asian people and how dare I align myself with the alt-right.
Hey, John, welcome to my world. Welcome to doing comedy since Donald Trump was elected, and you have a counter idea to the cult. Because what you just experienced, John, is called a cult. And you had an idea that went outside the cult, and that's not allowed. And he was called a racist and a right-winger. You know who called you a right-winger? Your buddy Stephen Colbert, right in your fucking face. He said, how long have you been working with Ron Johnson? He just called you that. Your friend Stephen Colbert did that.
Oh, wait, was he talking about people besides Colbert being mad?
So hang on. And then he goes on to say this.
And again, I didn't take that personally either. Like, we live in a world where, like, I have my opinion. I'm not mad at the backlash either because they're doing what I was doing, which is expressing myself. The part that I don't like about it is the absolutes and the dismissive, like, fuck you, I'm done with you. I will never forgive you.
What else did Stephen Colbert say? Did it also take you aback at what a hollow corporate punk Colbert turned out to be?
It took me aback.
Could it really? Could it be? Let's listen to what else he says.
You have crossed an unforgivable line. You've expressed an opinion that is antithetical to mine or not mine, and it may not be one that has any real ramifications of anything. I was just saying, this seems like it's a pretty good possibility, which, by the way, has happened before. But what was stunning to me, I think, was the anger. Like, that's the part of all of this, and it's purposeful.
Well, I think the thing that we discovered after that happened was, you know, that natural transmission means you're a Democrat and lab leak means you're a Republican. Right. And wet market means you're a Democrat and lab leak means you're a Republican. We were really puzzled by that one.
Well, you literally, though, like I had put Hillary for prison on my forehead.
So this is all making more sense what he's been doing lately, like when he pinned a medal on a Nazi, and
he never hold grudges,
and he doesn't hold grudges, and like when he interviewed Hillary Clinton and didn't ask her a hard question and let her off the hook about everything.
Ask Condoleezza a hard question.
He didn't even ask Condoleezza, right? He was just there. He was filleting warmongers who have vaginas. I don't know how you do that.
Speaking power to truth.
He was speaking power to truth. Yeah. So, because he almost got canceled. That I didn't know he took this backlash for just making those jokes, those obvious jokes. But that's what a cult is, and that's what the Democratic Party has become. Is that Jon Stewart had a different idea that was allowed by the cult, and you see how nervous it made Stephen Colbert. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, and also it made John so nervous he didn't feel comfortable bringing it up again until the FBI and the Energy Department both said they feel like it might be that.
Yes,
he kept his trap shut the entire time after. It makes you upset. I'll just stop.
But he doesn't hold grudges. He even gave a Nazi a medal at Disney World. That's what a.
It was a real mitzvah, I always say.
John, if you think the reaction to you saying this about the lab leak was bad, imagine what they would do to you if you told the truth about Ukraine.
I think he has imagined that, actually.
And that's why he won't do it.
Yeah.
Jon Stewart will not tell you the truth about Ukraine.
He's got to get out like 3 more Nazi medals to make up for that.
That's right. He will advocate for the soldiers who get slaughtered.
Yeah.
But he won't advocate for them not to be slaughtered.
Wow, he is liberalism.
He is. He's neoliberalism right now.
Wow.
And again, he's done many more great things than me. But not now. Not now. Not now at all. And he got a taste of it. He got a taste of what it's like to have your own thought, and his head got chopped off. And I didn't know that happened to him. So
he took less bullshit than Rogan did.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely. But who knows in his circles? Like I said, I don't run in those shit lib circles anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in his circles that people were saying, and he's not used to that.
How do you not know this after all these years that's how they
that they're going to say I'm done with you? You didn't know that these people were fucking.
He's a big cancel culture. That's not a thing. That's just something. He's that.
Yeah, John. Could it be that the most surprising thing about this is that you made that huge mistake by pretending that cancel culture wasn't a real thing?
It's just you complaining about consequences. Yeah. I call it consequence culture myself.
It's consequence, John. There's a consequence to thinking outside the cult.
It made you upset? What? Consequence culture?
Consequence? You know, I would have said to John if I were a shit lib, is that the hill you want to die on, John? The lab leak theory? So here's what Walter Kinn says. Or how do you say his last name? Kern. It looks like an M to me. He says, waiting for the calls that will never come from some old friends who questioned my very sanity, one by calling my wife when I failed to get with the Fauci script back when.
They thought he was insane. It's insane to think that's even possible.
It's insane that you could not think of something different than what the government and Big Pharma is telling you. It's insane. So I had to tell him, yeah, it's not coming. People I've known for yes. 30 years turned on me because they believe the words of proven Big Pharma criminals and government monsters because they were scared. They're just cowards who betrayed not only me, but themselves and their own integrity. And I'm better off without them. I had dreams. I've had dreams where the people who I've known for 30 years and who turned on me because they were scared about COVID, and I had the courage to stick my chin out and be correct about it and get my chin kicked in for being correct, just like I got my chin kicked in for being correct about not supporting the Democratic Party, just like I got my chin kicked in for telling the truth about Russiagate and debunking that conspiracy theory, just like when I got my chin kicked in for telling the truth about Syria and debunking the stupid gas attacks, which were used for bombing of Syria, just like I got my chin kicked in for telling the truth about now this COVID and masks and mandates and transmission and contraction and all that stuff. And they're not going to.
Well, they said it's low confidence that it's a lab leak. I was like, is it low? Is it higher or lower than the bat soup theory? That's really all that's important in relative terms, low confidence.
So Jon Stewart can't get over the anger, and he said it was purposeful. What do you think he meant by that? When he said the anger was, and it was purposeful. What does that mean? It's purposeful.
It meant somebody wanted to cause him some kind of harm. That's what it meant.
Oh, it was
like financially or in some way.
You mean it wasn't? Oh, okay.
That's what I think it is.
Okay,
because that's what I know it is.
And so Jon Stewart, ever since then, he has been a good boy.
Yeah,
he has been a good boy. Jon Stewart is a good boy. He's a good boy. Just like Stephen Colbert. Boy. Whenever you see somebody getting a Kennedy Center honor, it's over. Didn't he get one of those? It's over for them.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm sure he got one.
Yeah.
If you want to see my stand-up special, become a member at jimmydore.com. It's only $10, and come see our live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Honolulu, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, and more.